In 17th century Central Africa, Nzinga of Ndongo rose from the kingdom of Ndongo, modern-day Angola, at a time of crisis. European colonizers, especially the Portuguese, threatened her homeland. Driven by greed and the brutal slave trade, Nzinga was no ordinary princess. From childhood, she absorbed the arts of politics, diplomacy, and war, learning from her father and the royal court. She mastered Portuguese, turning the language of her enemies into a weapon. Unlike other royals, Nzinga trained as a warrior, preparing to defend her people with both words and arms. As the Portuguese tightened their grip, tearing communities apart, Ndongo's leaders struggled to resist. The kingdom faced destruction, and hope was fading. But Nzinga, with her sharp mind and fierce spirit, was ready to step forward. She would become the leader her people desperately needed. Her journey from princess to queen would change the fate of her kingdom. In a world of turmoil, Nzinga was about to make history. The fight for freedom was just beginning.
The situation grew more desperate under the rule of her brother, Ngola Mbandi. Unlike Nzinga, Mbandi lacked the strategic mind and fierce resolve necessary to counter the Portuguese. His leadership was marked by indecision and military defeats, which emboldened the Portuguese and sowed dissent among the Ndongo nobility. The Portuguese were not merely conducting raids, they were waging a war of conquest, establishing forts deep within Ndongo territory and installing puppet rulers, known as sobas, who are loyal to them. This strategy of divide and conquer was devastating, turning parts of the kingdom against its own king. Facing military collapse and internal betrayal, Ngola Mbandi's options had dwindled to nothing. It was in this moment of utter desperation that he turned to his sister, the one person whose intelligence, knowledge of the enemy's language, and unwavering spirit represented Ndongo's last hope for a diplomatic solution.
When her brother's rule faltered, Nzinga was sent to negotiate with the Portuguese in Luanda. The governor tried to humiliate her, offering only a mat while he sat on a throne. Nzinga refused to be belittled. She turned her servant into a human chair, meeting the governor eye to eye. The room was stunned. Her defiance became legend. She spoke fluent Portuguese, demanding an end to slave raids and recognition of Ndongo's sovereignty. Her intelligence and poise forced the Portuguese to agree to a peace treaty, if only temporarily. Nzinga's boldness in that room sent a message. She was an equal, not a subject. Her actions inspired her people and unsettled her enemies. She proved that leadership was about more than birthright. It was about courage and strategy. Nzinga's negotiation became a symbol of resistance. She had outwitted an empire's representative. The world would soon learn just how formidable she truly was.
Nzinga returned from Luanda a hero. Her successful negotiation brought a wave of relief and celebration across Ndongo, elevating her status immensely and proving her capabilities as a stateswoman.
However, the Portuguese governor and the slave-trading merchants who held true power in Luanda viewed the treaty not as a pact between equals, but as a temporary ceasefire. They had no real intention of honoring its terms, especially the crucial condition of withdrawing from their inland fort at Mbaka. Their goal remained the complete subjugation of Ndongo and the continuation of the slave trade, and Nzinga's display of strength only made her a more significant target.
The battle for Ndongo's future was far from over. The peace was short-lived. The Portuguese broke their word, and war returned to Ndongo. After her brother's mysterious death, Nzinga became queen, inheriting a kingdom under siege.
She led her armies herself, using guerrilla tactics to outmaneuver Portuguese firepower. Nzinga built alliances with neighboring kingdoms and even the Dutch, gaining weapons and support. She converted to Christianity, using it as a diplomatic tool to complicate Portuguese aggression. Nzinga's adaptability and relentless leadership made her a legend. On the battlefield, for 30 years, she fought for her people's survival, never backing down. Her reign was marked by both fierce resistance and shrewd diplomacy. Nzinga's war was not just for land, but for the soul and freedom of her people. Her fight would echo through generations. Driven from her capital, Nzinga refused to surrender. In exile, building a new kingdom and a base for resistance. Matamba became a haven for escaped slaves and a fortress against the Portuguese. Nzinga's leadership turned her exile into a symbol of hope. She welcomed the oppressed, forging a diverse and loyal army. Her guerrilla tactics and diplomacy kept the Portuguese off balance for decades. Nzinga's resilience inspired her people and frustrated her enemies. She ruled Matamba for over 30 years, outlasting her rivals even in exile. She remained a queen, undaunted and undefeated. Her spirit kept the dream of freedom alive. Nzinga proved that true power comes from perseverance and vision. After decades of struggle, Nzinga negotiated a final peace, securing Matamba's sovereignty. She died at 80, not as a conquered subject, but as a respected queen. Today, Nzinga is celebrated as a symbol of strength and resistance in Angola and beyond. Statues and stories honor her courage and leadership. Her legacy teaches us the power of resilience and intelligence in the face of oppression. Nzinga's life is a testament to the fight for freedom and justice. She reminds us that one determined leader can challenge an empire. Her story inspires new generations to stand against injustice. Nzinga Mbande, the warrior queen who outsmarted an empire and became an eternal symbol of hope. Her spirit endures, lighting the path for all who seek freedom.